animated horror, a genre that seems completely untapped, and I think this is only technically the third animated horror movie that's released this year, and it's not really been that great of a year for animated horror. And the history of animated horror is just not that great either. I mean, we have movies like Perfect Blue, Mad Dog. What else do we have? Paprika, The Wolf House, and I'm not really sure what else. But like this year, we've had Night of the Zoopocalypse, this movie, and Demon Slayer, and it still feels like we're not getting what animated horror could be. I think animated horror has like this such a weirdly high potential that it just never reached. Is it really that hard to make a horror movie animated? There's so much stuff you can do with it. Like you have so much more freedom. You don't have to pay for CGI or a costume for the monster. The sound is easier to work with. I mean, Monster House, isn't the best movie ever made, but it might actually be the best animated horror movie ever. I'd have to rewatch Mad God and Wolf House, but just nothing really comes out to me. Most animated horror movies are for children, and the adult ones we get come out like once every 5 years. And I'm not really sure if Exorcism Chronicles falls in line with that. Um, I think this movie does a couple good things horror wise. Like I said, the best thing you can do with animation horror is you can have the best and coolest looking monsters or villains or whatever for the movies. And for example, this movie has had some phenomenal ones. I think there's what two in this one? There's two really good looking designs in this one, and the sound design in this movie is absolutely amazing. They actually knew to work with the surround sound in the theater. It seems like even live action horror movies don't know what to do with that, and that's so easy to fuck with people. And I think 2 3 minutes in, you get the scene with the crow flying in, and it sounds like it's completely to your right in the theater, right next to you, but it's not. It's just going through the surround sound. Why can't more horror movies do that? I'm not too sure. There's also the rain scene where it actually feels like the theater I was in was being rained on, and I really appreciated that. And I don't know why more horror movies can't do that. I don't know why more movies, period, can't do that either. But horror, I think, just has using surround sound in horror is just so fun and scary and creepy, and we need more of it. And I like that in this movie, even though it was only an hour 20, we got like 2 to 4 scenes of it, and I really appreciate it, and it helped me stay intact with the movie because I'm not gonna lie, this movie jumps around a lot, and not in a good way. I guess the best parts about this movie are the sound design, and then the art design looks really good. I like how this movie just feels like it's been hand painted throughout, and of course, unfortunately, the animation does not match it. The animation is like this really hyper smooth, low FPS animation. It just looks disgusting. Most of the scenes in this movie, especially the action scenes, feel like video game cutscenes, and they don't feel natural. None of it just feels like an actual movie you're watching. It just feels like you're playing through a game, boom, cutscene. Some guy gets hit across the screen, and then there's dialogue, and that's it. Even during the regular dialogue scenes, this movie feels very video gamey. I don't know if this was their plan to make it feel like you're watching a video game, but it doesn't look good. It looks really ugly, and it's such a shame because I dig the art style. We got something similar for Predator, not Badlands. Killer of Killers, and I thought that looked really good. I forgot that's another animated horror movie that came out this year. That was actually pretty solid, but it's a Predator movie, so they have a basis to work around already. I just feel like this movie could have been so much better looking, and the storyboarding was just a mess. I mean, really, even during the fight scenes, it feels like you're jumping all over the place, and it just doesn't feel right. The characters are very likable and enjoyable. The father, the monk, the teenage boy, and I like how they all look significantly different from each other. No one looks samey in any way. Everyone looks very different, and in animation movies, you need to do that. You really do. And while I know I was watching a dubbed movie, didn't like, or I was watching the dubbed, I was watching the sub movie, you can tell by the way the Korean words are being said, that it would match the mouth. But even somehow, they've messed up the regular dubbing for the Korean version of this movie, so it doesn't even look like they're saying the words they're saying. I really don't know. The animation department really failed this movie, I think. Um, Also the storyboarding department. I just think that them two groups just lacked completely. There was so much potential here, and the ending of this movie. I know it's a part one of either a 2 or 3 part series. I'm not too sure. Felt really rushed, and this should have been 2 hours probably. An hour and a half just wasn't long enough to dwell out everything, and the ending just felt like it came, and then the movie ended, and then that was it. Which is such a shame because I was kind of digging it 20 minutes in, and then towards the part where they introduced the boy, everything just fell flat, and it just kept getting worse and worse and worse because maybe they should have introduced a third character with this sort of a runtime. Maybe it should have just been the monk and the father. I'm not too sure. Uh, Exorcism Chronicles, really just whatever. It's just really a whatever movie. Yeah, I'm giving Exorcism Chronicles. I keep trying to call it Exorcist Chronicles. It's not a fucking Exorcist movie. Um, giving it a 5 out of 10. It's really it holds itself back from being amazing. Like I said, the animation is just absolutely disgusting. It's an eyesore, really, and the editing, of course, falls in line with it. This movie just had so much potential. I really like this type of art style. I think movies that have been using this, and even TV shows like What If, uh, they've been falling flat using this type of art style that feels like a canvas being painted because of how bad the animation is. And unfortunately, this movie has the same problems. The jumping around to characters where you don't really know what the fuck's happening is a mess too. But to say I didn't have that much of a good time would be a lie. I think this does good in the horror department. A lot of the creepy scenes with the demons are phenomenal. The scene where the father's sitting, no, yeah, they're sitting still in the room, and then the it was the boy. He was sitting in the room, and the door's being open, and the creature opens the door and is crawling on the ceiling, and then they do this really bad jump scare, and it's because of the editing. It's really bad, but there was so much potential here, and it felt really creepy at times. I'm hoping part two is much better, and if there is a part three, I hope it's even better than that because there's something here. It just they didn't flesh it out correctly.